Hey guys, sorry we're late. Dusty was eating and didn't want you to see him like in that way. So.
Oh yeah, it was all me.
We started talking. You know how it goes. Like we started talking. We were like, holy crap. But Paul had a really cool sale that he just saw. So Paul, you should tell them.
Yeah. Panasonic DVD recorder for $300. I actually paid for that. I don't know where I bought it, but I paid $60 for it. And I could not imagine ever paying $60 for something like that, unless it was like in a lot full of a bunch of other stuff that I really didn't think would sell. And that was the note. Like I put the entire lot, like what I paid for the lot on that, because I knew that would sell for a lot of money, and then put the rest up as like cheap fodder, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard you say you've paid.
Unless maybe I bought it at a pawn shop. But no, I would have remembered that. I don't know. I'm looking at my notes though. I paid $60 for this thing, but I got $300, so that's a good return.
What was the item?
It's a Panasonic DVD recorder. It's only been listed for like a month. I put it up in FBA.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
And Dusty sold a textbook.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I sold a $50 textbook, yeah, and then as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, look, I sold a $300 DVD recorder.
Check my Amazon, like on my FBA, you know, it shows all your pending stuff in FBA, and you know, you don't get paid until they actually ship it out. And I was going through there, and I was like, lifespan development, that didn't even ring a bell. And I clicked on it, and I was like, hell yeah. I think that one's been there a while.
Not anymore.
That's right. And depends. Baby wipes. Lots of baby wipes. Depends. Just had to bring that up.
I was trying to see what you guys were saying.
Well, let's see. Adam's being sexist.
Yeah, sorry about the time. Oh, mothership. Really? Actually, I can't say anything because if you read the description of the show, I said that we would go.
Okay, nothing. Where? I am so. I'm backing up in the chat. Give him some beer and hit the live button. That's right, Scott.
That's all you gotta do for me.
I'm still in makeup. Okay, apparently I've missed a lot in the chat. No, I was cramming in a turkey roll-up sandwich thing because I realized I probably wasn't going to make it through the show without eating something. And our refrigerator is barren.
I have beer, that's all that matters.
Oh, dude, I just ate the last of the lunch meat. The last of the turkey. So somebody's making a Walmart run. Somebody. There's no bread. We have roll-ups. I mean, that's like it.
Roll-up. By the roll-ups, you mean tortillas? He's like,
yeah, I mean, kind of. They're like these low. They're called flatbread or some crap like that. And you can get them at Aldi. You can get them at like Walmart. You can get them. They're basically just like wheat.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like tortillas, but they don't have near as much fat. Like some of the tortillas, the bigger ones, even the wheat ones have like 200 calories, and these have like 90 or something.
Yeah. Uh-oh. It's going to be one of those nights where Danica falls out every 5 minutes. It's up to you and me, Dusty. Let's do this.
She sent me a message, and she said, damn it, you have to do it. I'm like, do what?
Do the thing. Do the thing.
Okay. Deja vu! So anyhow, while she's gone, because she won't have a clue what we said, because apparently her computer redoed or something.
Don't leave us hanging. What?
She wants to know if we're still in the Hangout.
Yeah, we're still in the Hangout.
So, wait a minute.
There she is.
Did it go out on the YouTube end?
No,
I lost YouTube and this. Refreshed the YouTube. This would not refresh. I had to close it and come back in. I do not understand what is wrong.
It's a virus.
The show's still going.
Yeah. I told them, I said, I just lost the Hangout, so I don't know. I said, I'll have Dusty do it if it won't go. Yeah. So I don't know. I completely took off Google, put it back on, the Hangout stuff, and redid it. I don't know what the deal is. None of my other tabs went away. Like, just the Google and YouTube tabs, they both went white. But the other ones are all fine.
I think something's screwy with, since they've kind of, because now they got that new format while everybody in the audience is, while you're waiting on the show, they got that new thing with that stupid, like, I don't know what it is, what to watch while you're waiting box or whatever, and that little red pulsing thing that's, like, supposed to hypnotize you or whatever. I guess it's probably something screwed. Have you not seen that on the YouTube end before you go live?
No, I've never noticed that.
Oh, the little, yes.
They changed the whole format stuff. Chris said you went to feed her cat. That's awesome.
I don't know why. It keeps doing it. I don't lose Hangouts anymore when I'm in them, but if I start it, it goes.
That's so weird.
Hangouts
are buggy. I'm still sending you guys the same link from like months ago that has like half of the URL gone, because if I try to send the full link, then people still get the error messages. They've never fixed that.
It's so weird.
Are you serious?
Yeah. But I don't know.
Well, I still want to work. I still want to figure out how to join a live show from an iPhone, and apparently it's an ongoing thing. And I put something in the Google forums where supposedly the employees watch it. And there's no. I've tried everything. There is no.
They just delete those because they don't like Apple.
Well, it used to work.
It
used to actually work. You could join Live Hangout from an iPhone, and then I don't know if it was in one of the updates for the app somewhere. I even tried uninstalling the app and reinstalling the app, and I can't get it to work.
Well, to be fair, the quality of sound and video from somebody who's on an iPhone is complete crap. So
it's not bad if you're on decent Wi-Fi.
I guess. But that's one of the reasons why I don't like periscoping, because I got to do it on my phone, and it's just not good quality. It freezes all the time, and it hangs up, and I hit the home button and it shuts the video down, and it's a freaking cluster, man.
It is really hard to keep you have to hold just the edges of your phone, like your case. And people make me sick. It makes me nauseous when they turn the camera. Like that little thing that it does between it like Blair Witch.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, what's that? Squirrel.
Yes. Wait, you want to see something cute?
Yeah.
Can you see?
Looks like a metal octopus.
It's a fork. It is an octopus, but it's made out of a fork.
That's cool. Did you get that on Etsy?
Did you make that yourself?
I could, but my mother-in-law bought it.
How did they polish it?
And you know what? Okay, this is an example of phenomenal sales. The people were on vacation in Italy when Mom placed her order. They went out, got silverware, made it for her, and shipped it to the States.
Oh, hell no.
From Italy?
From Italy.
That's crazy.
Right?
But, you know what?
But how much did she pay for it to get that kind of level of service?
They didn't charge any extra.
Well, how much was it originally?
Was like $10, $15 maybe. Yeah, it was cheap. I know it wasn't
crazy.
20.
So how are you going to hammer a fork like that though without having the right?
Apparently, there's a process that they use to heat it, and then it's just the polishing.
And then the polishing, it's probably just like one of those big polisher buff pad or whatever things. You just done.
I don't know why Home Skillet would have that with him.
And they had that in there. They had that and a large mallet. And
maybe they're visiting relatives.
Italy.
Maybe
I don't know. I don't know if they. They very well could have been visiting someone. I don't know. But is that adorable?
Yeah, it's cool. That's really cool, actually.
I know, right? I think it's so
ideas.
I started making a list of things like that people could make and sell, like actually sell.
And not just make as in take 10 hours making it, but like 5 minutes once you get the process down.
Yes, like stuff that you can
Put your children to work making.
What do you call it? Like
cedar
assembly line.
Yeah, like cedar pot or flower pots. Yeah.
Those bad boys take forever though. Don't be thinking you're gonna get out. But like right now, the latest craze is taking the biggie perler beads, like the fat plastic beads that little girls make necklaces and things out of.
Mm-hmm.
You take them and melt them in the oven, and they make a perfect circle. And they're cutting vinyl and putting, like little decals on them, and then using E6000 to put an earring back on and selling it. It's a pair of earrings. You get like a tub of 1,000 perler beads for $9.99, Amazon Prime.
Are people still doing the typewriter key thing?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I used to get the old typewriters with the glass keys and like just get a pair of wire snips and just cut all the keys off.
But all those.
I didn't want to ship a 30-pound typewriter when I get the same money. It always killed me if it was a decent one to like tear up a perfectly good typewriter.
Yeah. But all those things can be used to make jewelry. Like if you want to make something, the typewriter keys you can turn into earrings. It's simply, as easy as just kind of grinding down the little nub that's left on the back.
Right.
And using E6000 or whatever epoxy you want to put the earring back on there. And you get those, I can't remember how many you get. They're cheap as all get out. Just get
if you say E6000 one more time, we'll probably get an endorsement on the show from them.
E6000. It is awesome. But that's the only one that I use, so I'm used to that's what I'm used to calling it, as E6000.
That's what Tristan uses.
Because it's awesome.
It's like super glue on crack for other substances.
The earrings that we made, it took, you have to leave them in the oven for an hour. And while they're in the oven, you cut out your little decals with your cutting machine. That's completely hands off. The machine does all the work. When they come out, they cool for 5 minutes. You pop the decal on. If you want to, you can spray, clear coat them or use clear fingernail polish. Pop the back on and they're done. You make a cute little card, get cardstock, make a cute little thing, pop them on there and sell them for anywhere from $4 to $6 a pair. And they're really, really, I'm totally gonna now.
See, I always thought the person that did the vintage snapshot photos and develops them, prints them out, whatever, and puts them on, with the funny sayings on the inside. It's like the two women from the 50s with their horn rimmed glasses, and they're sitting there and they put a funny say, because I find slides all the time, old slides. I was looking at a box of them that I had, and it was all these women around this picnic table in the 50s, 60s. They had their they did have the cat eye glasses and stuff, and they had their Coca-Cola bottles. And there's one guy in the background, the old guy with a cigarette falling out of his mouth, and it just needed a caption. And I'm like, you know what? I really should get that developed into a picture and come up with a line of cards. But I know that's also already been done by a lot of
So what if it does?
Doesn't matter.
Because it's profitable. Dallas Moore has a giant business based off of just
photos and slides. There's great money. I was telling, it was after Vickers Church yesterday, and I was actually talking to the Craigslist hunter, Pete guy, and I was in the after show thing, and I pulled a bunch of those slides out, and I was going through them because that particular box I had never looked at. I was like, oh my gosh, this one's awesome. There was an old guy that was tall and skinny, and of course everybody in the 50s, 60s, they were all skinny, probably because everybody chain smoked, but whatever. But they, he had the overalls going on. He's standing behind this 1950 something Chevy car with the trunk open. He's got a fish in his hand like this, and his bucket, and the other one is rod and reel. And I was like, that just looks like somebody's grandpa. It looks like what I remember my great grandfather looking like. I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to develop that, but I don't know how. Who does slide? I'm sure there's a wolf photo or whatever they call it around here. Who does turn slides into photos now? Hey, Danica's back.
All right.
Hi.
I'm sure you could probably just get like a slide or get like some kind of piece of equipment or something that you could do the developing yourself.
Well, I got one that I bought from somebody. It's called a Pix, P-I-C-S #2 SD. And you put them in, and it's supposed to do it something like, I don't know, I got it like a year ago, but I can't get it to work. I don't know what it's, I don't know. I like really, honestly, if I can find somebody to be like, hey, $1 a slide or 69 cents or whatever, I'd rather just drop the slides off somewhere and let them do it and like go back and pick the pictures up.
Well, the thing is, if you want to do something like cards or like motivational posters or just like if you want to buy picture frames at Goodwill and put one of those pictures in it and use it as like Art Deco stuff, then you have to be able to like develop the pictures at will. Either that or you have to get like 100 of them developed at a time and have them sitting back. I mean, I don't know. If I had a bunch of those slides, I'd rather have a little box of slides that were like my go-tos, the ones that I'm selling, and then anytime somebody bought one, I just pop it out and print it out and put it in, you know, like add a caption or whatever I got to do and print that out or, you know, print it out on cardstock or whatever it is that I'm selling. Just do it that way instead of just having inventory.
I agree.
This place does E6 slides, standard slides. It doesn't tell how many they do, but it's like $11. Send your film and you get it digitally. That would work. And that's the other thing too. I want them in HD, and I don't think that little machine did HD.
What's a felted soap bar?
A what?
I've never heard of a felted soap bar.
Sue said she's shopping on Etsy for felted soap bar.
It sounds like a bar of soap with some kind of additive that makes it feel like felt.
There was an old soap bar. There was a brand, they still make it, called Fell's Naphtha.
Yeah, I used that to make laundry detergent.
Maybe that was a typo.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, she could get that up at Walmart.
Bolo.
Yeah, so Upstate Safety and Supply. Old magazines have great old pictures. The problem is those great old pictures in those magazines are copyrighted by the magazine. So you can't just like if some old photographer sees one of your listings or something, they can come after you.
Well, and that's the thing about slides, because I mean, technically that's a negative. You know, I'm not going to get into legality because I'm not an attorney of who owns that. But you know, if I bought all these old slides from an estate, you know, legally, whatever else, that's considered owning the negative. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think it would come back to bite you in the butt.
No, you're fine. I'm just saying, like, if you try to cut pictures out of old magazines and like scan them and use those, then you can get in trouble. But if you're using slides or negatives, they're yours. You own them. I mean, you do whatever you want with those. If somebody gave up the negatives, then they gave up the rights to the pictures.
That's what we need to do. I need to drag out. I think I got a slide projector. I do have one. I need to put them in there, and we need to do a show one night, and I'll put like the white thing behind me on the wall, and we'll go through them together, because the subject matter is just cool. It's like, obviously somebody was at the lake, you know, just the old-timey cars, the old, you know, clothes and stuff, and their color slides. So
that's cool.
They're just cool.
I would watch it.
Those are the best because you can make them black and white whenever you want, but if they're black and white, then you can't really colorize those very easily.
There's Millie. Every time I come on a show, Dusty's talking about copyrights and negatives. I think that you just showed up right when I said that, Millie. That's bizarre.
It's not true. Okay, Millie, tell us what's true. Explain it to me.
Which part's not true? Paul's saying.
I don't know. Apparently, like if you own the negative, you don't own the photo. What?
Or the part about the.
Or.
The magazine thing.
Was it that, or was it the part about like cutting out magazines and scanning the photos and using those photos for your own stuff? What are you talking about?
I was pretty sure that you couldn't do that too.
Cherry Vintage said felted soap has wool felt around it, so you can use it as a washcloth soap combo.
That's cool.
I could make those.
I could totally make that.
Yeah, all you need is a wool felt, whatever, and Lord, I could use a sewing machine enough to do that.
Yeah.
I would knit a pouch
Oh, you're
and
such an
felt it, and then put it around the soap. But you gotta make the soap too.
Yeah, and then you end up getting $20 for a bar, and you're like, screw this.
Dude,
No,
I
no.
paid so much for good soap.
If you seal the soap up in the look here, problem solved. I make a hell of a deal on it right here. Look,
If you seal it up, you don't know what it is.
5, 6, 7, 8. Look, I got 24 bars of dial. You can just say that's your handmade.
Oh my lord!
Scrape the dial.
Nobody's gonna.
Scrape
Nobody
the
will
dial.
know.
Scrape the dial thing off of it and call it your.
No, don't even. You don't even have to scrape the dial thing off. Just get like a cutting board or something and chop it into a square so that it looks handmade. And
But you gotta heat it in the oven first with your beads.
yeah, there you go.
Actually, I could just go downtown to the
They're back.
shop downtown and buy hers in bulk, and then stick them in the thing.
Yeah.
She makes really good soaps. The lady downtown here does.
Yeah.
I like
Alright,
the
so
soaps. The
Millie
dusty.
said the photographer is the owner of the copyright, or if it is a work for hire, the person who hired the photographer. She was talking about the slides or negatives. Yeah. I guess nobody cares because I know too many people that once they get their hands on a box of slides and negatives, they have never had a problem, and they're in business. I mean, I guess if some old lady was in King Supers or something and she saw a card that had a picture of her niece that she took 70 years ago, maybe she would get mad and be like, I remember that. I took that picture. I know the I don't know. But I seriously doubt that it'd be something you got to worry about.
Yeah.
What'd I miss? What'd I miss? What'd I miss?
Everything.
You missed it all.
Sorry.
All's the stuff.
Apparently we have a beauty salon going on in our kitchen.
Oh, is Windsor getting her hair dyed?
Yep. And her friends here, and they're just having a good old time.
What color?
Blue.
What?
Blue.
Oh.
Because only my daughter could pull off like blue hair.
Right?
Okay, so the trend lately has been making their hair gray.
I saw that. I keep
What
seeing
is
these
up
girls
with that?
Dude, I keep seeing these girls with gray hair. I'm like, and then I look at them. It's like you're like 19 or 20.
No,
But
no.
it
I don't
adds
understand.
like 5 years to you. I mean, if you anybody that I've seen with their hair dyed gray, they look older than they are. You know,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why they do it. But
I don't understand what that one is about.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to show you a photo.
A photo.
Photo.
Please do.
Emerald.
Hot.
Emerald.
All right, so you don't have to make your own soap. You just have to get an Amish distributor, and
Now you tell me that isn't cool blue hair.
that's cool.
That's that's not what we're saying. We were saying
Such
like
an awesome kid.
the gray stuff is just like I don't understand the gray thing.
Yeah, the gray now.
I'm not looking forward to when my daughter gets that age.
Right? Have you seen Dusty's kid at the beach?
No.
Dude, I feel so bad for him.
Right. Oh, yeah. No.
Windsor at the beach.
So you lock them in their bedroom and be like, no, you need to wear a 3-piece pair. A 2-piece,
Right?
like a 1-piece with a skirt and a wool shawl. And no.
That's the only reason that I've even considered taking an MMA fight, just so that when she's that age, I can, like, when I know he's coming, I'll just have it playing on YouTube when he walks in the door. It's like, oh, what's up, man? Oh, yeah, I was just watching this old fight from a few years back that I was in. You're going to have her back by 10, right? Right as I'm knocking the guy out.
Right.
I actually did do that, and with, and she's like, Dad, why are you cleaning? You never clean guns. Why are you cleaning guns? I'm like,
It's the fact of the matter here.
someday you'll understand.
Yep. I'm just practicing, so I look like I'm like I'm good at this.
And see, I have boys.
I do remember Millie doing the research when I brought up the slides. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember that one though.
Oh, are we?
I'm backing up in the chat.
Just being good and looking at chat.
The photographer is the owner of the copyright, or if you work for him, will do.
Maybe that's what the gray hair comes from, is anime. I'm sure there's like a bunch of anime characters that have gray hair now or something.
Oh yeah.
Danica, you're the expert on anime.
Yeah. There's a lot of anime chicks with gray hair. Like, well, it's silver.
It's supposed to be silver. Yeah, exactly.
Silver hair. But it does not translate well.
It never looks silver. It always looks gray.
No, it's gray.
Yeah. Upstate. Did I miss this conversation too? Tell me how far, because I had to leave the room for a minute. Upstate Supply said, yeah, Amish wholesalers, no issues. They just want the money and they'll wheel and deal with you. That's brilliant, because you know what? They're not going to compete with you on Amazon, that's for sure.
Oh, exactly.
Oh, right.
They're not going to start listing their own product. They're going to try to take you down for copyright infringement. So there's this place that we found the other day out in the country, and it's like wholesale mattress outlet, and we were looking for a new mattress, and I was like, it's out in the middle of the country. It's one of these little metal Butler building looking. I was like, it's got to be cheap. Well, it wasn't, but on the sign they sell all the Amish made rocking chairs and everything else. They have Amish caskets.
What?
I was like, what is that, like a pine box?
Apparently
to the tune of $3,500.
A pine box?
I didn't actually get to see one. That was an Amish casket. But they had Amish made mattresses. Apparently the Amish have branched out into mattresses. They're all hand pieced together and handmade.
Okay, but hold on, because Amish, it's all supposed to be like plain.
No electricity, right? Is that?
Well, no electricity. I don't know that they can't have. I don't know. Let's go Google.
Well, okay. This is what we learned by watching Vanilla Ice Goes Amish. They.
Oh my God.
The Amish will work with Mennonites because Mennonites use electricity and drive cars and have credit cards and stuff, right?
Amish.
So they will have a Mennonite partner that uses the power tools and stuff. How slick is that? But the Amish guy doesn't have to. And I was like, what? Vanilla Ice bringing us the truth.
I mean, they're not ornate, but they definitely. I mean, they look like a regular casket, with the handles and they're really pretty, actually.
That's too fancy.
You ever seen a Jewish casket?
What's that?
A Jewish cat. It's made completely of wood. Like there are no metal nails or screws. No, everything is 100% wood, and it's all pieced together. Yeah, there's no like glues or anything.
Is that like an Orthodox thing?
Yeah, my father-in-law had a casket like that, and they were all explaining it to me. I was like, okay, but it looks like a regular casket, except it looks like it's not even his didn't even look like it had been stained or anything. It was just plain wood.
I didn't know that.
Solid, plain wood with no metal, no nothing. Everything, all the connections, like the door hinges, everything was made out of wood, so that it just like dissolves or whatever, I guess.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, they're not even allowed to use nails.
Who's not?
That's a Jewish funeral custom.
Oh, I thought we went back to Amish.
Funerals should take place as soon as possible. Autopsies are not
That's
required by law. Cremation is not allowed. Burial is a plain wooden casket with no metal. That includes no metal handles or even nails. They're put together with wooden pegs. Actually, Jewish tradition is to bury the person without a coffin. If a coffin is mandatory by local law, tradition dictates choosing a simple one. Oh, wow. Didn't know that either. The body is closed.
Well, they're supposed to be... Yeah, I was going to say, aren't they supposed to be just in the white, wrapped in the white thing?
Yeah. Wow. Didn't realize all that. So
tonight... You should totally watch that Vanilla Ice thing, by the way.
Oh, I should. That and Amish Mafia. I forgot that show even exists.
I can't watch the Amish Mafia because that just makes me sad. But the Vanilla Ice thing was awesome.
Really?
Like, because he actually does really good stuff. Like the house, it's him doing house things, but he's doing it with this Amish company and and it's like only for Amish families. That was super cool. I was like, what? Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, I was trying to actually set up my cable box today, but I gotta it's such a pain. I gotta like move it around and get a splitter and all that crap and.
What?
Yeah.
Cable since you moved in?
Huh?
You haven't had cable? Is that what you're saying?
I've had a cable internet. Like I just took my modem and mounted it on the wall, but that's where like the cable, the coax is in a spot where I don't really want to put my TV, so I'd have to like extend it and run it all the way across the living room, like right across the little hallway area where you got to walk into the back of the house. So
Right.
I don't want to trip over it and stuff, which I would do every day.
Get rid of the cable part and watch everything streaming off the internet.
Well, that's what I do, but I paid, basically, it was either $80 for Blast or $80 for Blast plus HBO plus cable TV plus everything else. Never pay for the cable box. So I'm like,
What's Blast?
Can you use, that's Comcast, right? Blast is Comcast.
Yeah, it's like.
Can you not use, here's a thought, can you not use, I know the Roku box has an Xfinity app on it, and you log in with your Comcast ID. Could you not use that? Because the Roku box, you know, of course, is Wi-Fi. You could use that anywhere in the house.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Well, they used to have I think they got rid of the Xfinity app, actually. Like, I don't think it works anymore because I have it on my Xbox 360, and when I try to log in, it says that please call your Comcast provider. There's an error, blah, 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 and I can't even download the app on my PS4 or my Xbox One. So, I don't know. I'm thinking they got rid of it or something. But Xbox One has a whole walkthrough on how to hook your cable box up through the Xbox, and it's got an extra HDMI outlet just for that. So, very strange. Very strange. But I don't know. I'm guessing that Xbox just wants. Maybe somebody figured out a way to hack it easier or something if they had an Xbox. I don't know, but whatever. It is what it is.
We haven't had cable in like 3 years, and I honestly don't miss it. You know,
I don't miss it at all, but every once in a while, like if I'm at a bar or whatever, like the other day, I was sitting in a bar, and yeah, like that's pretty much every day actually, but.
I just like the way the story starts out. The other day, I was sitting in a bar, and I'm like,
no, but I was watching some UFC thing, but then everybody started turning on the Republican debates on every other TV. But I happened to be sitting at my TV, like there's a TV right in front of me, and I was watching my show, and I was like, I don't want to change it. And they're like, oh, no, you don't have to change it. Don't worry. Everybody else wants to watch the debates. They're good. So then, like, right after that, the show was over, and then it went on to something I didn't care about. So I'm like, all right, well, give me the remote. And so I'm switching through, and it's like, there's nothing on. What the hell? And then I found college wrestling. I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to go over awesome. Sure enough, within like 5 minutes, I had some dude come up to me like, man, are you even paying attention to this thing, man? Look at those guys. What are they doing? And they're sitting there talking. Total redneck dude. Just totally offended by the fact that two guys were in singlets, like trying to hold each other down. But yeah, I knew that was coming, but it was pretty funny. And I was just like, "What are you? What's the matter, man? I mean, is it interesting? What? Did anyone make profit today? I made profit.
I made profit talk. I was 11 minutes late, but.
You made Profit Talk 11 minutes late.
I did. Okay, let's talk about reselling.
I did. Joking.
Yeah, so I have something on, but it's usually not TV. Like YouTube's got so much content now. I mean, if I can't find anything on YouTube, then I just turn on Pandora, type in a song I like, and let it run the rest of the afternoon.
We haven't had cable in like.
But you know, there's
5 years.
There's so many apps. Like there's an app for PBS. Like I said something about talking on the morning show this morning. Like I was laying in bed the other night watching Antiques Roadshow, which is a show I enjoy. It's on the PBS app. It's free. You know, it's a lot of the broadcast stuff you can watch.
All 2,050 episodes.
Is that how many they have?
What?
It's a lot of episodes, man. I don't know if it's that many, but that's one of those.
I thought you were serious. I was like, what?
Yes, but you know, and you can catch You know, you can get on the NBC app, or which one's Saturday Night Live. You know, you can watch that. You can watch. The only thing that really jacks us up not having cable is for like Alabama football, but we found ways around that. We just go to somebody else's house, or there's a couple of bars/restaurants, you know, that are actually restaurants that let kids in.
Or, you know, don't watch football.
Wait. I gotta clarify this. There's an R2D2 beer cooler.
Wait, what?
Yes.
What? Why don't I have one of these? No, this is just the one you put the batteries in and you turn them on and he talks to you. Like if you say something, he'll say something back in his little whistle, and then he'll like drive around and stuff. Like he can roll around the room. But if they're, yeah, I guess they would have to have made an R2D2 beer cooler at one point. I mean, if it's not like a ridiculously overpriced collectible, I have to have one of these.
That's
I'm on Amazon. I see a trash can.
There's a robot fridge, R2D2 robot fridge. This one is life size and moves.
This one? Oh, this one's
at the front door.
Yeah, he's not quite life size, but he's pretty good.
No, some Japanese guy made this one.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, actually, William Porter said that he would only watch OSU football games and The Walking Dead. Honestly, the only thing that made, like, when they were like, well, you don't have to pay anything else, we'll give you a cable box, you'll never have to pay for it, we'll give you HBO for free, blah, blah, blah. I was like, but I'm never going to watch it. But then I was like, but The Walking Dead is on cable, and it does take, like, a year for the new season to come out on Netflix, and I could actually see myself sitting down, making sure that I'm around to watch the next season of The Walking Dead. So maybe that'll be worth it right there. But I hate commercials. I hate having to like schedule a time. I don't know. I guess I could just get a DVR. But actually, my Xbox is probably a DVR. I'll have to figure out how that works.
I think it is. The one?
Yeah, the Xbox One. It probably is, right?
I thought so.
Because I just actually got a 2 gig hard drive for it, so I should be good for a while.
So I was trying to pull this app up because I was going to talk about something else, and I realized, you know, how you download apps and they go to the second page to like Never Neverland. I have this ultrasonic repellent app that's supposed to repel like dogs and crap. Like we have this neighbor dog that won't shut up. Is there? Like, no, it's up at the lake, and it's the camp. I'm not going to go into all that story again. We just changed campers. We're in a new one, and this lady's been there, had the same camper. She's literally built a house around it. It's actually pretty freaking awesome with, like, this, I don't know, 900 square foot screen and porch. And she's had the same camper for, like, 15, 20 years, so I can't really do anything. She's got 2 yappy-ass chihuahuas that, like, that's all you hear, because the backside of our camper is up against the lot line, which, and because she built on so much damn deck, it's like pretty close. Of course, we don't look out those windows or whatever else, but you hear her dog. So what can you do to make a dog stop?
Buy a bunch of really cheap
It's legal
Bluetooth speakers and hide them all around the place with that ultrasonic app. Anytime the dogs go crazy, just like.
But is that just going to tick them off though?
Well, for a while, but eventually they'll get tired of barking. And then
should I go get my wife's dog and we'll try this app out?
Oh, don't do that till I get back. Like, read what I said.
Where are you going?
I have to get my pain meds real quick. My body kind of went nuts.
Okay, well, we'll talk about.
Take, like 2 seconds.
All right. So the just get a bunch of cheap Bluetooth speakers on Amazon. Just eventually they're gonna get tired of barking, and when they realize that when they stop barking, the noise stops. Maybe that'll train them to stop barking.
I mean, the problem is the lady leaves a lot, and she'll like go into town, or I don't know where you go around there because there's really nowhere to go. But she'll go into town and she'll leave them on her screened-in porch, and I'm like, and they just sit and bark like a leaf blows, and it's real high pitched, just annoying as crap. And it's like, we were trying to kind of rest and just went up there, like we normally do, to get some I don't take naps during the day, but when I'm away from technology and away from eBay and away from Amazon and away from Hangouts and all that kind of crap, yeah, I did take some downtime. I was actually like doing taking a nap and checking out stuff on my phone. I guess that's not really away from technology, but just, Tristan was sleeping and that dog just, and I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. We got to figure something out. So I downloaded the app, but I couldn't sneak outside and get close enough.
That's what you need the Bluetooth speakers for.
Can you hear that? I don't think it'll pick it up on a... No. It's really high-pitched. I can hear it here. But it probably doesn't pick up those frequencies on a webcam.
I got tinnitus, so like I don't hear that. It's the same frequency that I hear all the time, no matter what anyway. So I pretty much always have like a high-pitched in my ear.
And it's just... my wife's got to go tomorrow and have steroids put in her left ear again. This is week number 2 out of 4 weeks because she is getting ringing in her left ear, and they did a hearing test, and she can't hear. Like, they showed her the graph, and she does fine at regular frequencies, whatever. When they get to higher frequencies, it just drops off. So they called it sudden neurosensory hearing loss, and they don't know what causes it. And this guy's an ENT and been doing it for years, and lots of other people in the practice. He's like, we do know that we have a pretty good chance if we inject steroids directly into your eardrum. Dude, I had to sit and watch it. And my wife is tough as hell. She had cancer when she was 15. She went through several rounds of chemo, had surgeries, had bones removed, all this kind of stuff. I mean, when I say tough as hell, she just makes me feel like a total wuss, which I am anyhow, when it comes to needles and crap. But I mean, even she, when that needle was going in her ear, she looked like I saw big tears in her eyes, and I was like, oh. She's like, I probably would have freaked out and just like started screaming like a little girl or something. But
yeah, my soon-to-be stepmom just went through like the stem cell injection or whatever in her knees.
Right.
And they took it out of her hip, but they had to like they had to put a needle in and crack the bone, and she's sitting there like describing it, and she was like, yeah, once I heard that crack and felt that pinch, I was like, and she was just,
no.
But yeah, I don't even know if it's doing anything for her. It's been over a month now, I think, and every time I go over there, I don't know, she seems like she's doing a little better, but they say that the stem cell thing, like the younger you are, the better it works, but I don't know.
Sorry.
I've thought about it. I give blood on a regular basis, and I've thought about doing it's not the stem cells, but no, it is stem cells. The bone marrow. That one's different, yeah. I thought about doing that because they've changed the ways that you donate bone marrow now. They don't actually have to the donor. They can actually do it through simple injections and stuff like that.
Yeah, they can just take a little bit out or whatever.
Yeah, the biggest downside to it, I think, from what I read, is you have to be on these certain meds for a couple weeks ahead of time, and there's a lot of side effects to them. The donor does. But they pay for, like, if you have to go to a different facility, like you need to be at the hospital where the recipient's going to be. They pay for the trip and let one spouse go with you and all that kind of stuff. I thought about doing it, but every time I start to, like, click that button to, like, set up my consultation, I kind of chicken out.
No, I would do it for a family member, somebody who's really close, but I don't think that I would, no. Are you talking about doing it for your wife?
No. She doesn't need it. She's totally fine and all that. But she did have childhood cancer, so that's one of the reasons I donate blood, because I am cursed enough, I guess, if you want to say it that way, to have, like, O-negative blood that's CMV free, which is this virus that most people have in their blood and they don't know they have. So it puts my blood in, like, the top 1/2 of 1% of all blood types.
Oh, I totally probably have that virus, but I've got O-negative.
I have whichever O makes it to where they put it in the tiny bags for babies.
They call mine baby blood. So when I go to give, I do it at the hospital. My blood gets processed, stays in the hospital, and goes straight to the pediatric unit.
I can't give anymore.
You can't. Tristan said they told her she couldn't because she'd had cancer previously, but some places will still let you do it.
I can't because of the autoimmune thing, and because I have meds that I take. I can't.
I would totally give blood if they just took little baby bags of it.
Well, what it is like each bag, like what would be a normal bag makes, I think it's 4 baby bags.
Right.
Like that's how mine, like it had the 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to do that all the
I
time.
haven't given blood since high school.
Well, the cool thing is here that the place, if you go to the place at the facility, that it's the local southeastern regional, kind of like a Red Cross, but it's a different name. And they have lots of places throughout, Florida, Georgia, whatever. But they have one here in the hospital. They have a facility there in the hospital. If you do it there, you get a $20 movie gift card, which helps because I'm not a big fan of needles, but I've learned 2 or 3 years of doing it to kind of just suck it up. But you get a $20 movie gift card to your choice of any of the theaters in town. But if you do this double apheresis machine they have, which pulls out, it's not platelet donation, but it pulls out the whole parts of your blood, or it pulls out the red blood cells, but re-injects your body with saline solution. Normally if you give blood, you feel a little lightheaded because you've lost some of your fluids. It puts the fluids back in, but it takes about 35 minutes versus a normal blood donation. But you can only go every 8 weeks instead of every 4 weeks or whatever it is, or 16 instead of 8. So you only have to do it half as often, and then you get $40 worth of movie cards. I'm like, $40 for the movie card. We'll go to the dollar movies 40 times. Sneak in our own snacks. So usually my daughter steals the movie cards, but
yeah.
When John was in the military, like he would go to donate plasma, and it would be like a line of soldiers around the corner if you went on Friday.
Yeah, they needed beer money.
It was like a line of Joes. Out the door, down the sidewalk.
And I've thought about the plasma place here in our town is in the freaking ghetto, and it usually has a line, and they aren't soldiers lined up. It's like the crackheads lined up around the block or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Now, see, why can they give blood or plasma and I can't?
I don't know.
I ain't been high for 2
Maybe you need to start smoking crack.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably don't have enough blood in my alcohol stream to be able to give blood in the first place. So.
It was really cool though to let kids go once you turn 16. Have a parent with you, and my daughter really wanted to do it. She waited till she turned 16, and she and I went together. That was pretty cool.
That was recently.
Yeah, except she didn't fail to tell me. We went at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon that she hadn't eaten anything all day long, and she got really, really, really faint. And I mean, it was pretty cool though. I've never seen there's like 4 employees in the blood donation place, and they literally all stopped what they were doing, grabbed her underneath the arms, threw her down, ice packs to the jugular or whatever, and massaging her neck. And they're like, I mean, they literally have like a plan of when somebody's going to pass out what they do, and it was like clockwork.
Poor Windsor, they picked up a body slammer on the ground.
It was like, I was like, are you going to do it again, or and she's tough as nails because she got that from her mom, and I'm like, are you going to do it again? She's like, yeah, but I'm going to eat next time.
That, you know what, now that you mention it, I gave blood one time, and the same thing happened to me. I was on an empty stomach, and they asked, it's like, did everybody eat today? I'm like, I don't know, I haven't ate anything. Like, oh, okay, well, we'll just watch it close, blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, man, I got done with the thing, and I was just like, that was probably one of the closest times that I've ever come to passing out. I mean, doing jiu-jitsu, you get pretty close to passing out quite often, but like short of like having somebody trying to choke me, I was like, whoa. And they said that I just gone white, but they didn't do like ice packs and rub me down or any of that. They're just like, oh, come here. Here, have some orange juice. Have a sandwich. Have a cookie. Here you go.
I've never come close to all the years of doing it. I've never come close to passing out. That's probably because I'm fat and like my body goes into like, oh my God, we got extra shit over here mode, and like we'll send that to the veins or whatever.
Give them this stuff here.
They're just cleaning you out.
They can't figure out why the babies that get your blood just get fat really quickly.
We'll take it out of his camel hump.
They sneak a couple of fat cells in there, a little bit of lipo.
I don't know. I probably don't live my life as good as I should in a lot of ways, and I think it's the one thing that kind of makes me feel like especially with my wife's history, makes me feel like I've actually like contributed back to society and done something worthwhile,
Yeah.
When I'm at the pearly gates, and he goes, "What did you do?" I'm like, "Well, I gave baby blood."
I got babies.
I gave blood for years.
I tried.
I'm,
And I
I'm
gave
still
baby.
working on that part of my resume. I'm not quite there yet.
Wait, who lies about what?
Who lies? They lie, Danica. Oh, who's quitting smoking?
Dana.
Good job, Dana. And it's rough. I feel you, bro, because it's I've been quit now for about a year, but that's probably was like the 8th time I quit too. And the vaping was the easiest quit that I've ever done out of all the quits. Switching to the vape.
Yeah.
Like, forget the patch, forget the, the gum. All I wanted to do was take the damn patch and roll it up and smoke it. No, that stuff was awful. Forget the Wellbutrin, because that medication made me feel crazy. But the vaping definitely.
Yeah.
And if you're a heavy smoker, don't hesitate to get like the 20-25 milligram. Get the higher dose nicotine.
Yeah, my wife said I'm pregnant, and I said okay. And that was the last time I smoked cigarettes.
See that?
They started making me sick like right before I found out I was pregnant with Braden.
See, that was Kristen, though. She could just, when she got pregnant with the kid, she just put it down. Oh, I'm pregnant, boom, stop. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I guess you have motivation there.
Well, most women, it physically makes them ill.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good thing. I mean, my wife, she didn't quit for a while. Like I said, I quit. That's it. I'm not doing it anymore. She kept smoking for a little while. I'm like, what are you doing? And eventually, it wasn't like that much longer, maybe a few weeks, where I just have to wean myself. I just need one cigarette. I'm under a lot of blah, 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 And it's like, okay, whatever. But you need to quit. And eventually she did. But
it's been over a year, almost a year and a half. It's probably been, maybe, I don't know, 15 months, between a year and a half. The only time I really struggle with it is when I've had a drink or two or a beer or two. I could totally pick it back up right then. Oh, hell yeah, because it went hand in hand for years.
Yeah.
And if you don't smoke or drink or never have, you're probably not going to understand that. But that's why bars have haze in them, because it goes hand in hand. I mean,
one of the things that helped is that they had just illegalized smoking inside of any public building in Colorado. So, like, no smoking in the bars, no smoking in restaurants, no smoking anywhere. Basically, if you aren't in your house, you can't smoke.
Unless it's pot, and then you can pretty much do it anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes so much sense.
No, but seriously, that's the same thing. You can't like sit there and smoke a joint on the street. And your cigarettes, I guess you can as long as you're like 10 feet away from.
It's supposed to be like 10 feet away from the doors.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, bars have patios, whatever. But it's kind of different when you're on a patio than when you're just sitting around getting hammered inside the bar smoking like a chimney, and everybody's smoking and you can just breathing in that haze. Yeah.
And Marianne said, vape, here I come. Marianne, I'm telling you, find a store, which I know, she's in a pretty big town in Florida, I think, so you probably got several. Find one of the stores that literally specializes in vape stuff. Don't go to one of the head shops where they sell other stuff because they're not going to go crap about what they got. Sit down and talk to them. Tell them your smoking habits. Tell them your everything. Usually most of them will let you try the vaping equipment. I mean, seriously, just find, and if you don't like that store, go to the next store. Find one that seriously gives a crap. And we'll tell, if you say, hey, I'm not getting enough nicotine off this liquid I bought last time, I walk in, they're like, how many packs a day do you smoke? What kind of cigarettes? And I told them. They're like, okay, you probably want to start with this because that'll give you the same level of nicotine. I mean, find somebody that'll actually talk to you. It's kind of like finding a doctor. If you go to the first doctor and he has bad bedside manner and he doesn't give a crap, go to the next doctor.
Well, the difference between finding a guy that's trying to sell you vape and finding a doctor is 99% of the people trying to sell you vape aren't anywhere close to a doctor. But then you get that one total geek that's like knows everything about like nicotine and all this crap. And that's the guy that you totally want.
That's the guy you want. And the really ironic thing is where we decided to quit smoking was in my wife's doctor's office, and I had gone back because she was having change some meds, and they wanted my opinion on how she was doing on the meds and all that, and so I went back in the room with her, and the nurse, we started talking about something, and she's like, "Do you smoke?" Whatever. And we started talking. Yeah, we both do. She's like, "Have you ever tried vaping?" And we're like, "No." I mean, we know what it is, but no. She goes, gets an alcohol prep, goes and gets her vape pen out of her purse in the break room, comes in and brings another employee with her that has her vape thing, cleans the tip off with an alcohol, and she's like, try this. And we're like, oh my gosh. And she's like, okay, you go to this store, you get this thing, get this milligram. Like, the nurses at my wife's doctor's office are the ones that got us started vaping, which is awesome. And they were encouraged because the doctor wanted everybody to quit, and he basically put an incentive program in place. If you'll switch to it, I'll pay for part of it, whatever. And I was like, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But
I mean, now you're finding out about how bad all those chemicals are for you, and how they're like more carcinogenic than cigarettes.
There was a lot of it that came out of China that was. They put all kinds of crap into it.
Yeah, but if you look at there's some brands that are made here in the U.S. One that we always liked was called, I can't say this on air. It was called Sofa, as in like your couch is a sofa, and it was King, so it was called Sofa King. The King liquid. Yeah, that was what it was called. Which totally sounds like something else.
Awesome.
Is a play on words, but that one was made here in the U.S.
Definitely only get one that is made in the U.S. and not from Chinese.
Now, your vape pens are all going to be made in China. That's not a big deal. Those are just like a battery and an element, I would think. Right? They are, but I mean, all the major brands that...
Find somebody in the States that will actually build electronics for less than $150 for a unit.
That still work?
I'll tell you. This is like the absolute...
It's got so much dust on it. I think I just did a dust bunny.
That actually got you off of it, though, huh? The vape pen?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it did, and that was the only way. And you got, we started out with 25. They're like, okay, you smoke 2.5 packs a day. You need 25 milligrams worth of nicotine in your liquid because you're going to need that much nicotine to replace that. And then I went down. The next one is like 15 milligrams, and all the liquids. If you find a flavor you like, for instance. Try the flavored stuff. I liked it was vanilla and coffee mixed together. Was the one I liked.
A lot of people don't like the ones that are like the nicotine flavored. Like they have ones that are like tobacco flavored, and
I hated.
Most people don't like them.
They gave us that one, and I thought it tasted like butt.
Like RY4 or something like that.
It tastes just like a Marlboro, and I'm like, no, not really. But then we went down. Then I moved down to like 15 milligrams after a month or two or whatever, and then like 10 milligrams, then like 5 milligrams, and then by that point you're really not getting a whole lot of nicotine. And then if you just enjoy the hand-to-mouth thing, which, you can get them with 0 nicotine in them. It's just the flavored liquid, whatever you become used to. And then at that point you could either stop or keep doing it or whatever. But
they say the nicotine isn't even the bad part of cigarette smoke. It's all the other crap that they include. Like if you get the all-natural tobacco. One of the reasons I think it was easy for me to quit is because I didn't smoke like camels. I went and bought like bags of all-natural tobacco. It was just tobacco, and then I wasn't rolling my own. I'd buy these little filtered tubes, and then I'd have like a little packer thing. You put the tube in the middle, and then you pack all your tobacco in there, and then you got a filtered cigarette that you just made. And
that's cool.
What was the all-natural Native American Spirit or whatever? Those
are the ones that you can buy in packs, but they're like $6 or $8 a pack now or something. Right. I mean, you could literally buy like a giant bag for $25, and that would last me forever. You just throw it in the freezer so it doesn't dry out, and I mean, and they were so much like thicker, like they got packed tighter and everything. It would take me 20 minutes to smoke a cigarette, and then I wouldn't need another one for hours. And so I was smoking like a couple a day most of the time, unless I was drinking, and then it was like a couple an hour at the most.
Then it was one right
So I guess that was most of the time, but...
somebody has 2.5 packs a day. Whoa. I mean, but that was part of... It wasn't 2.5 packs a day when I worked a real job, because you don't get that many smoke breaks. But when you work for yourself, and a lot of your work involves unloading stuff from the car onto the porch, and I haven't smoked in the house since pre-kids. I mean, she and I did when we had an apartment back in the day, but I mean, it's been 15, 20 years ago. But when you're self-employed and you can have your own smoke break whenever you want, as often as you want,
or you can sit there and smoke while you're working.
Or you can, or if you're working outside and I was working on the porch and I would just sit there and chain smoke.
Yeah. Well, I was single. I just sat there and smoked like a chimney in my house, and I would sit there and I'd easily do 2 packs a day at one point. Like 15 years ago or whatever, when I was like 20, probably till I don't know.
When cigarettes were 99 cents a pack.
They weren't that cheap, but
I used to buy the Highway brand, and they were in like 1991, 92, 93. They were like 99 cents a pack.
I think that's when I started smoking.
The BP, you could get them at the BP gas station, and I would scrape up to find 99 cents in change.
Yep. We would always try and find the cool kid, i.e. the nerd from high school that didn't have any friends that was old enough to buy cigarettes. It was like, yeah, hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, oh, cool, blah, blah, blah. Leather jacket, always had a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, that guy. Total douche nozzle trying to be cool all the time. But, yeah, every town has one, and we found ours, and that's where we got most of our smokes.
Well, I mean, I feel pretty confident that my kids probably will never smoke.
I don't think so
They
either.
grew up hating it so much. Like the times I would quit, and they'd be so proud of me, and then they'd catch me started back, and it was just disappointment. And I have such a hatred for it, they probably never will.
I only have one friend that smokes, and he'll go outside of his shop, and Caitlin will be in there, and she'll walk out there, and she's like, "Ew, what is that smell?" He'll look at her like, "Really?" Yeah, you shouldn't do this. It's like, I'm never gonna do that. That's disgusting. Watching a 5-year-old say it is hilarious, and she just makes like this big melodramatic moment out of it every time she sees him light up a cigarette. It's hilarious.
Those are bad people. You don't ever want to do that.
And he just looks at me and he's like, puts a cigarette out.
My kids, like my mom and Jeff, they smoked. She doesn't anymore, but the boys, like when we would go to visit or whatever, they only smoked outside, and Nana or Pop, whichever one would go outside, and the boys were like, we're gonna go do something, and they'd go outside, and one of them, whichever one was smoking, and the boys would be, it was like instant. It's gonna make us so sad when you are dead, because that's what those do, is they kill you, and we don't want you dead, and it was like this whole, oh my God, you're gonna die, and if only you loved us enough, you would live, and they've big blue eyes, just, couldn't you love us?
That's a good motivation to.
That one, yeah. They don't smoke anymore, so. Yeah, and I mean they totally didn't mean to, but it's really hard to look at those. I mean, our kids have like just these huge, gorgeous, dark blue eyes, and it's like you got these big, beautiful blues looking at you. I sure do love you.
That was Gabriel, our son, and he was like, I was total mama's boy, and still is, and just sweet kid, and he was always like, I don't know why you want to do that, and it's just why I want you to live, and I don't want to grow up with no parents and have to live with Grandpa. I don't like Grandpa.
That's awesome. That's,
I was like, well, you talk to your mom about that, buddy, because I already quit. That's on her.
You guys remember those Black Death cigarettes? It was like a black pack with a skull and crossbones on the front, and it had a Surgeon General's label on it that these cause cancer. They will definitely kill you if you smoke them long enough. They are full of tar and horrible additives and blah, blah, blah. These are the worst cigarettes on the market. Whatever. Yeah, we used to buy those.
I never saw those.
You never saw Black Death cigarettes?
No.
Yeah, they were pretty hilarious, actually. But
Millie said I used to love those little dots that came on a piece of paper. Can't remember the name of that candy. I thought I thought that was acid.
they were just called dots.
No, they're called candy buttons. They're buttons. They're
Those.
buttons.
I was like, sorry. I was still thinking of my bad days back when I was still there. That was called.
That was called fun.
That was called the purple double dip.
That's what that
Purple
was.
elephant.
We had purple Jesus.
Yeah. I never did anything like that.
I totally did.
I just heard about them.
I had a lot of friends that did acid, and I tried it a couple times. And my kids know this. I'm open and honest about everything with them. And I was like, it was awful. Like, it was never, no, don't try it.
Yeah, acid is what stopped me from doing drugs altogether. Okay. I mean, I did it a lot, and I just got to the point where I was like sitting there in the corner of some rave, laying down, afraid I was gonna die. Everybody kept coming and checking on me. Hey, you okay? You okay? He's still breathing. He's good. Let's go party.
Do you remember when that was like that was how we measured if someone was okay?
Yeah.
Do you have your compact? He's fine. He's fine.
He's breathing.
It got foggy.
So my friends decided to give it to me and go, just try it, you'll love it. And then, oh yeah, we got to go to Robert's grandmother's in the hospital, and she's dying, and we got to go to the hospital. But you'll be fine because it won't kick in for a while. No, it kicked in on the elevator in the hospital with all of these doctors in white coats, and I start freaking out, and they all convince me that they're all there to get me because they're actually taking me to the insane asylum. Yeah, it's not. Now, needless to say, I've told all my kids these stories. I'm like, you really want to? I know it sounds funny, like, but you don't ever do it because no.
I had cool friends that just turned on the Super Nintendo, handed me the controller, and let me play Dr. Mario for 10 hours straight. The first time I did it.
We used to play, like, we played flashlight hide and seek out in the woods. Yeah. That was like our favorite thing to do when we were doing that, was we would wait till dark, go out in the woods, everybody had a flashlight.
I went to a lot of raves. That's what I like to do.
We went to a club in Charlotte.
Really loud music, no light.
Yes.
Kim lights, the light sticks were brighter than the actual lights in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day, I think it was on a road trip to somewhere, like family vacation, my kids are like, Dad, have you ever? And I'm like, you know what? My parents lied to me. They're like, no, we never did a drug, and we never did. I'm like, well, whatever. You know, you weren't that goody-goody.
My dad to this day claims that he has never smoked pot. I'm like, okay.
And I told my kids, and I know we're alive, but I told them about the time I went to jail, and I was over the age of 18, and it was big boy jail, and I told them everything. I just spilled all the beans, and I was like, because that's where, I was very fortunate. I turned my life around and, got out of the group I was hanging with. I said, but a lot of people didn't. And then a lot of them are in jail or in prison or whatever. And I said, that's where you want to be, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Eventually you got to grow up. That's something that it's like you can get away with when you're a kid, but I mean, the people that are still doing it when they're like 35, 40, they're just, I guess, I mean, if you can keep it together, then more power to you, bro, but I don't know anybody that could. I mean, everybody that I've ever met that is above that age, I mean, they either have a ton of money and, like they actors or like whatever.
Or silver spoon.
Yeah, or they just have, their family has a lot of money and they just never have to, they're not responsible for anything.
They don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Trust fund babies.
Yeah, basically. I wish I was a trust fund baby sometimes. That'd be so cool. Yeah. But, I don't know, life would kind of suck too. I need one of those trust funds that only gives you like $500 a week or something.
No, I need a little more than that. I think if I had a trust fund.
No, that would be enough to like, okay, well, if I'm in trouble, at least
I can keep a roof over my head and keep the power.
Exactly. But, if I want to actually have a life and do stuff, I got to go work for it.
Ew, those make me sick. The Fun Dip sticks.
Fun
They're
dip.
talking about the fun. You know that white stick? You lick it and stick it in the powder. The sugar.
Oh, those
those?
are delicious.
No.
I would sit there and rip a bag open and just be like,
No.
love those.
Oh, that stuff makes me so sick.
I have like a horrible sweet tooth, like really, really bad. Like sugar and candy is the best. It's like ecstasy. I mean,
Ugh.
I'll sit there, I could eat spoonfuls of sugar and be cool. You know,
Does it
like,
help the medicine go down?
yeah.
I remember people smoking at the movie theater and on a plane and on Amtrak. I totally remember that. And I remember when Tristan and I first started dating, we used to walk through Walmart. It was right after they passed the smoking ban, like 1992 or whatever. You couldn't smoke in Walmart anymore. But at night, it wasn't the super centers. They were like the little old Walmarts or whatever. So they only had like 8 employees working, and they're stocking the other end of the store. We just walk around and smoke. Nobody ever said a word.
In the Walmart?
Huh?
In the Walmart?
Oh, yeah, but then that was during I mean, they just put the ban on smoking in there. And it wasn't actually a law you couldn't smoke in Walmart. It was more like a rule. Like literally months before they had said you can't smoke in Walmart anymore. And you could still smoke in Waffle House. You could still smoke in the majority of most restaurants. I mean, like our first date, they said, do you want smoking, non-smoking, or first available? And me being nervous, I looked at Tristan and kind of shrugged my shoulders, and I said, whichever one's quickest. And she goes, that would be first available. Oh, yeah. And we both hid the fact that we smoked from each other. And we went somewhere else afterwards, whatever, and she had to come back by my apartment, not like that, but come back by my apartment. And she comes in, and I have this ashtray that's like the size of this paper plate, one of those big crystal glass ones that you never empty because you can keep piling cigarette butts in different slots, and it ends up like a mountain like this high. And she goes, oh my gosh, you smoke? Because we've both been jonesing for a cigarette for like 4 hours. I was like, no, those belong to my friends. And she starts, at that point we had enough conversation. She's like, yeah, all right, okay, like, where's the cigarettes? And I'm like, yeah! Okay, cool. And then we sat and smoked and talked for, I don't know, about pretty much all night. We sat there and talked all night. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, we hid the whole first 3, 4, 5 hours of the date. We hid the fact that we were both smokers and like dying for a cigarette. Because I had a couple glasses of wine at dinner and really needed a cigarette at that point. But yeah, you could smoke, and that was a big national restaurant too. I mean, you could smoke in just about anywhere back then, like up until about mid 90s, and that's when it all just kind of.
Yeah, see, I was still in high school.
Queen City.
I mean, they had here at the bowling alley here up until 5 years ago. They still had the smoking room, the glass box that you go in to smoke. That's all enclosed, where you like literally walk in the door and get lung cancer. Just
At
walk
the airport.
Like they had at airports. Yeah, exactly. The bowling alley here had one of those until about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's owned by AMF or whatever the big company is that owns all the bowling alleys. And then they did away with it completely and became 100% smoke free.
Yeah, they just make them smoke outside now. Stay 10 feet away from the door.
That's right. But that was my excuse as a kid, even in high school. I would come home and my parents smelled it, and I'd be like, we went bowling. And I think after about like a year and a half they thought I was like a tournament bowler, I guess, because apparently I went bowling every night, So.
Actually, you could still smoke I know you could smoke in bowling alleys when I was in high school.
Hell yeah, because they had that little aluminum ashtray built into the damn.
Yeah, it was a part of the thing.
The score screens were and all that.
Yeah, I do remember that. But like only part of it was like there was like the side that had like the bumper things that they could bring up, that was no smoking. But like the back part where all the cool people were, it was more like just a bar.
The cool people.
Right?
Yeah, I was totally. I just forgot.
We're renaming the show Center Talk.
Yeah, I'm sitting here texting with my kid, by the way, and feeling just like, oh, don't watch Mommy's show.
That always worries me a little. Who's actually watching the show? Is somebody that I know going to be...
Right.
But not that I really care. I mean, you get to us... Yeah.
We still have a few bars. They have to be, I think, between state law and municipal, local level law. They have to be 21 and up.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still a few places you can smoke in. They're mostly bars and 21 and up type places. Bars, pubs, nightclubs.
You know the e-cig thing that we were talking about? Do you know how much, like how big, I mean, I know it's a huge industry, but do you know, like, numbers-wise, the sales on those, like, in the last year? Do you know?
I'd like to know how it is compared to tobacco. I would love to know
It
that.
has to be cheaper.
No, like how much the...
Because Big Tobacco has so many employees, their overhead. Oh, I know, right?
What?
They have to have huge overhead and stuff. Like Philip Morris was in the town that I went to high school and stuff in. Philip Morris was huge. You know, they employed thousands of people just in that one place.
Yeah.
You know, so there's so much. But, you know, these little shops, the little vape shops, I mean, that has to be a pretty viable business model.
But why have they not, and I know they have some of the, like, you can go to CVS or Walgreens or, I guess it's CVS that doesn't sell tobacco products anymore. But you can go to Walgreens and they still have tobacco products, and you see, you know, the commercially available vape cigarettes.
Yeah, the ones that are, like, mass-produced.
The ones that don't work.
Yeah.
Are those made? Those aren't made by any of the big three, like Philip Morris and R.J. Reynolds.
I don't think so, but I mean, they could be.
But have they not sat and looked and like, oh my gosh, look at what our market share is doing? Why have they not?
Well, they're still spending on the legislation. They're still spending to lobby legislators to outlaw them. They still want them regulated and outlawed in the end.
But the big dogs are definitely into vaping.
But what point would you have not, the big three said, hey, let's screw all this lobbying money. Let's just forget about all that and let's take that money and put it into product lines to make these.
Those companies are so huge. Those
Go
companies are so huge that they've got to have like a division for vaping that's like trying to market that and get that started and make sure that they have all the
different. Yeah,
and then you've got the guys on the other end that have made their entire careers based on lobbying Congress and keeping the laws in place where they're at and blah blah blah. So I mean, it's like a giant. Some of these corporations are so huge that I mean nobody really has any control over everything. You know?
Drive-in movies.
I almost went to a drive-in the other night.
There is a drive-in. There's a drive-in up at the lake, and if you go, and it's like 6 miles from where we stay, and if you go on like Friday or Saturday night, it's double feature, and it's like $10 for a carload full.
Yeah,
I love the drive-in.
I've never been to a drive-in. The drive-in around here actually has it's like per car, and I almost went a couple weeks ago, but it ended up being one of those nights where I was actually trying to get an FBA shipment in, and it's like,
what?
I'm just gonna stay home. That's so stupid. A drive-in, really, but
it's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like
awesome.
there's like 3 movies in a row. You show up, you pay the fee, and you can stay there until they're all over. So you can either show up first thing, like when the first movies started, or you can just come for the last one or whatever. I guess I don't even know how it works, but
they were showing. It was Fantastic Four, and then if you wanted to stay, you could watch Pixels, and then on the other screen was, I had to actually look because I couldn't remember, was The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Vacation.
Oh, I want to see The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Never heard of that.
What if you could switch? Is that a remake of the old one?
It's got. I thought it had Matt Bomer in it, but yeah, they like remade it, but it looks like it's still old school. You know, like what was that, 50s, 60s, something?
Yeah.
Actually, the lineup at the one that I was going to go see was like Mission Impossible, Ant-Man, and Terminator. So it was
so yours plays old school.
Well, no, I mean the new Mission Impossible. Ant-Man is just.
Oh, is that out?
And Terminator, the new Terminator, where Arnold Schwarzenegger is like 80 years old or whatever.
Oh yeah, that one kind of freaks me out.
Yeah.
I don't think I can watch that.
I could watch it, but it's just another Terminator movie at this point. They're not ever gonna be as cool as like Terminator 2.
No, it's $15 per car. Sorry, I was wrong. But the thing that gets me, and you look at like regular movie theaters and the concession stands and all that, like their snack bar is actually affordable. Like they have, it's a mom and pop type thing, because most drive-in movie theaters are anymore. Like hamburgers are $3, barbecue plates $5, popcorn. I mean, even a large, which is huge, looking at the picture, $6. What is it for now at the regular movies for a large popcorn? Like $12.50.
12, yeah.
And it's like, really, what is that, like $1, maybe 75 cents worth of popcorn?
No, it's probably 10 cents worth of popcorn.
Yeah, the container cost them more than
the popcorn. Yeah.
And it's what, 15 if you get the cool bucket?
Yeah, it's probably 20 cents a bucket plus another 5 cents for the popcorn.
The one where they go, if you get a large, you get free refills. And by the time you're done, even if you've shared it with 4 people, you're like, who the hell wants any more popcorn?
I know, right? That's a lot of popcorn.
Dude,
that's why you get a small. Oh, but then if you get a small, they won't give you refills.
That's right.
Yeah, only large gets refills. I could live on popcorn from the movie theater. Like, I love.
You won't live very long. That's nothing but salt and butter.
Well, I don't get the butter.
Ours did away with they changed, it was called Monaco, and they sold out to, I don't know, one of these other big movie companies or whatever, but it was an independent. They did away with it after they sold out, but when it was an independent, they had the little shakers with the, like, different flavors of popcorn flavoring. Like, you could get, like, Italian, or they had, like, barbecue, or they had, like, cheesy, and you'd walk over, there's this extra little bar thing after you get your popcorn, and you just shake it into your popcorn. They had like 15 different little bottles or whatever sitting there of all this stuff. And they did away with it. I'm like, how much did that really cost them? That's what made their popcorn good. Like, you could pick your own flavoring afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my kids want to Skype me, so I have to go.
Ah, that's right. They're not home, so you need to go and take care of that.
They're in South Carolina right now. And
they're watching the show.
No, they think the show's already over. They don't care to watch. They don't care to watch my shows.
That's good.
They just think it's cool that we do them.
Yeah,
that's. You know how kids are about YouTube.
Yeah, my old man is like, "Oh, that's so cool. I watch you all the time. What's Danica doing? Blah blah blah." I'm like, "Really? You still have no idea what the hell is going on, what I'm doing, what I do." He's like, "It's the only time I ever get to even hear you because you never talk to me and you don't call me and blah, blah, blah."
Well, go ahead, give him a shout out right now in case he's watching.
Oh, he's not watching.
Hi, pause, Dad.
What's up, Dad?
And
it's his birthday today, so right after we get off the show, I need to go over there and say hi to him anyway.
And hey, Danica's mom.
Danica's mom. Yep. When I'm down there, I'm going to make my mom be on the show. She doesn't know that yet. Love you, Mom.
Was she watching the show tonight?
She typically comes back and watches replays.
Yeah, don't watch tonight's in case you happen to be at the
She
end.
knows. She knew back then.
She knew back then. I wonder how much my parents did know. And that's always like, because I'm the black sheep of the family, and there's 4 of us kids. So we'll get together even now. We went back to Birmingham a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, hey, Mom, let me ask you a question. Like, how much did you know that I was doing this? She's like, and like, I'll ask them now, because now you're at that age you can ask.
Well, I do now.
And it's like, well, I do now.
Not like you can get in trouble.
That's what my mom said when I started telling her about some of the crap I used to pull.
My mom's whole thing has always been to be honest with her, tell her the truth, and we sit down and discuss it. Like, I've never been grounded or spanked or any of that stupid stuff. Like, we sit down and talk about everything.
Yeah, I don't lie, but it ain't lying if you don't say anything.
Well, she knew. I mean there were times when it was like, duh.
Yeah, if they ask me questions, it's like, okay, yeah. But
look, you have no
most of the time,
you have no color around your eyes. It's all pupil.
What?
I was at the bowling alley, I swear.
I'm fine.
Everything's just funny right now because I'm stressed.
Yeah, I've got a couple of good stories.
There's something eating your head.
Why do you look like the devil, Mom?
Oh, geez.
You might want to take care of that. Okay, I have to go be a good mummy.
All right, have fun being a good mommy.
Yay! Will it? Do you guys just want me to? Are you guys gonna stay on, or are you done?
I gotta go.
Okay.
I guess I'll go.
Okay.
And Dusty is probably going to start a Hangout and get really hammered.
Well, Dusty, you can leave this one if you want it, or are you going to go start another one?
No, I need to leave it anyhow because you got to upload it, right?
Yeah.
It just automatically does it.
You can upload it until I leave it.
No, it uploads automatically as soon as you go off air. It's over.
You know how Paul does. You know how Paul does the after show.
Yeah. Once you hit off air, then it automatically uploads.
Oh, I thought everybody had to leave it in order for you to upload it.
No.
No, it does it on its own.
I don't
It just takes a couple hours.
hours.
Yeah. If you want to use this one, you can. I'll just... Because once it goes off air, if I leave, it'll be fine. It'll still go.
Okay, cool.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, so Dusty will share the link.
I will share the link, and next week we'll talk about reselling, I promise.
We did.
Deb should be back.
Hey, we talked about reselling
We did.
a little bit.
I think I would like to really come up with a couple of business models for small businesses, not reselling, something.
I would love to talk about stuff that's not even related to, not so much reselling thing, but more just ideas to make money that anybody can do. Yeah,
exactly.
Just businesses that you can
Yep.
start that don't necessarily involve private label or wholesale or reselling from thrift stores and garage sales.
Yep,
You know?
I would like. That's what I would like. I'd like to talk about some of that stuff.
Ooh, that would be a good topic for next week.
Okay. Well, somebody remember it because I'll forget.
Yeah.
We'll just
And
have to watch because
Deb will be back. So.
I know, right? Okay, so
If
thanks
anybody
for
has any
watching.
suggestions, go post it up
Oh yeah.
on the Profit Talk Facebook group or the Reseller Wake Up. You can post it there too.
Yeah, more people post it.
Danica and Dusty are both admins over there, so they'll see anything you guys posted in that one.
And I would like to say before we go unlive, a very, very, very happy 25th birthday to the Golden Finger Picker's wife, the Florida Picking Queen. Today is her 25th birthday.
I beat you to it. I told her happy birthday this morning.
Happy birthday, Kim.
This morning? God, you're such an overachiever.
I did it on the morning show.
You're such an overachiever. Shut the show down. I'm done. I quit.
Okay. Love you guys. We will talk to you later. Bye.
Bitcoin.
Pick.